Hey, good day to everyone. Hi, Earthly Wise Woman here. This is actually the day after the full moon, and it was a beautiful full moon. It was the sturgeon moon, which is a very big fish. Some people call it the green corn moon. Um, Various names, but it was a beautiful moon. The energy was very, very high, very intense energy last night. I on my main altar, I am currently burning a candle to my ancestors because I need their guidance and their strength sometimes, and and I feel, and sometimes I just want to say thank you for being there for me, for guiding me, for helping me to humble myself to listen. Anyway, today is a time when I usually will talk to you. It's my coffee time. Coffee, see? Mm. And today I wanted to discuss two questions that came through my feed. One was, how do you practice voodoo? And another was, how do you set up an altar, a voodoo altar? And the first one, I have been pondering over this because I'm like, what do you mean, how do you practice voodoo? But then I realized we generally come from a society where there are a set rigid rules on how we practice our religion. You know, if you are Catholic, and a female, you would cover your head, and if you are, the rules. You have this feast, you have that feast, you eat this, you don't eat this on Friday, and all of these things. How I practice voodoo, I don't come at it that way because I realized my grandmother told me this, and I realized it as I got older. You can fall into the rules and regulations and miss out on the total spiritual experience by just following rules. So, what I do is I just go about my day and I allow the Loa and my ancestors to guide me. There are days when I am doing something and I feel this overwhelming love, or this feeling of uh Oshun. I love Oshun. She's one of my lowest, and a lot of them that just washes over me, and I just feel this love of beauty when I look at a beautiful sunset. Oshun comes to my mind, or when I'm looking at a field of beautiful flowers, or just at the grocery store and I'm looking at beautiful fruit. Oshun comes to mind. Classic for me is a fabric store. I love fabrics, but I can see one that the beauty of it just it dawns on me. So and her beauty, clothing, how she is the woman empowered, and she's not loud with it, she is assured, she just knows. But this comes from walking with your Loas, knowing them, um feeling them, allowing yourself to feel them. With Papa Legba, i um I know it sounds crazy. As a child, I used to envision Papa Legba as somewhat being like Mr. Rogers. And I know a lot of you are like, what the hell you mean, Mr.? He just it was that caring energy. It wasn't Mr. Rogers as being some old white man. Wasn't like that. Okay, but sometimes I remember the first time I saw the movie Song of the South, and that's come under fire. I'm not even going to deal with that. But when I saw Uncle Rebus, I thought of Papa Legba because I saw the connection for me. Your Orisha will come through to you on a day-to-day things in ways that you may not even consider. When I first saw Mr. T, I'm not joking, the energy of of Ogun came through. I'm like, ooh, that's Ogun. That's that energy. That take charge energy, wanting to fight for what's right and the justice. I loved that energy. It was just that kind of energy that came through. Um, I say all this to let you know that it is a personal walk. Sometimes when I go to my altar for um, for Papa Legba, I will feel compelled to put a Hershey bar. And I myself don't particularly care for Hershey bars, but I just know he loves that chocolate. I know he does. I know he does. I'm like, this is just for you. And whenever I put something on my Oshun altar, I never put a Hershey bar or a Snicker bar for her. For her, I always put beautiful box of C's candies because it's so pretty and she's beautiful. But each energy will come to you and you find yourself guided that way. It is a personal walk. And you need to it when it comes to practicing voodoo, it is a personal walk. You will go into a group or a gathering with other believers, and sometimes you're going to find people who will like state this is the way it should be done. There is no exact way, but there's one thing that is always, and that is sincerity and being real with, show your true face to your Orisha. Show your true face to your ancestors. My grandmother, when she would talk to ancestors, she did not use the these and thous. She was real. She kept it real. She was having a bad day. She would just say, she would speak to her mother. And Mama, I am having a bad day, Mama. You know what I'm saying? She would cry. And she would find herself, and I do this now, when I'm having a rough day and I want to talk to my grandmother, I'll make a meal that I knew she liked. And for me, I don't have a ancestor altar because I keep pictures of all my family all over my house. So I might find myself eating a meal in front of my father's portrait. And usually the meal is something he liked. My dad, when he was alive, he loved fried chicken. He loved fried chicken. So I might be, that day, I might, instead of me, and I don't make the best fried chicken in my opinion, but my dad loved Church's fried chicken. So I might find myself picking up a 3-piece or 4-piece of fried chicken and some biscuits that I will make those myself. And my father loved collard greens, and I'll just make it and eat it and think of my father that day and ask for his guidance. My father was a very level headed man and had a good mind for business. So when I need that advice, I will do that. And I will do it, talk to him, eat my meal. But before I do, I'm going to find myself, I will go, to Papa Legba and tell him, Papa Legba, I need to talk to my daddy today. I'm feeling it, and I'll cry thinking about him. And Papa Legba loves some strong coffee, so I will make a strong cup of coffee for Papa Legba. But in my envision of Papa Legba, he also likes sweets. So I'm gonna put a little cream, sweet cream, in his coffee. Stir it up. I got him his own cup. I don't use that cup. That's just for Papa Legba, and it's on his altar. And a few videos back, I showed you my Papa Legba candles that I'll light. But I do have a little statuary that I got for Papa Legba, and I put it on his little altar, and I talk to him, and I tell him what I need. And I envision him just opening up the doors of the crossroads and letting my ancestors come through so that I can talk to them. That's when I do that before I talk to my the Orisha, or when I talk to my ancestors. I'll leave a little offering for Papa Legba first, and that's where it becomes your day to day, your everyday experience. Somebody asked me, well, how do you craft an altar? What do you put on the altar? Well, first of all, you put something you know, this is me, because even altars are a personal thing, but they should always have reverence. I put, uh, I like to put statuary on my altar. So I do have statuary for the Orisha. I have one for Chango. I have one for Oya. I have one for Yamaya. I have one for Oshun. I have one for Ogun. I do have my stationery. And of course, Papa Legba. I light candles to them. And I do that according, I remember reading when I was a child that certain colors represent certain uh, Loa or Orisha. But I do that. I respect that. But I also know that some days I'm looking at the color lavender and I'm drawn to that color for Oshun. So I'm going to put a lavender scented candle because she loves her scents. And I know that because I have a personal walk with her. She loves the smell of perfumes. I'm putting a perfumed or scented candle on her altar. And I'm going to put some fancy chocolates because she don't play that crappy crap. We put fancy chocolates on her altar. I'm listening to certain music that makes me think of her. Um, I will put flowers on her altar. But do you see how these are personal things? The altars, a lot of people think they have to be elaborate. They can be. They can be. Or they can be simple. It's not the altar, it's the love that you put into it. It's when you allow yourself to give yourself over to the Orisha and let them lead you and tell you what they want. It's like Saint Expedite. Yeah, there's a Saint Expedite, and I don't know how to express that one, but whenever I feel the need, I don't know why. Uh, but for Saint Expedite, I always put a zippy bar on his. And those are those black and white. You don't even see them that often. But when I find them, Saint Expedite. And I'll buy that for him. My grandson, um, my middle grandson, for him, he has an altar for Chango. But I noticed that his altar for Chango has a Black Panther action figure. To him, that's Django. So he puts the Black Panther figure on his altar, and that to him is Django, and you cannot tell him otherwise. That is where how he relates to it, because he felt to him he goes, it must be Django, Grandma, because Django is a powerful being, but yet he keeps his energy in check. He's fair and he is honest, just like the Black Panther. And that's where my grandson relates to it. And I'm like, well, blessed be. Um, when my granddaughter got her first African American doll, that was like a little Barbie, but it was black, beautiful hair, beautiful hair. For her, that was a Oshun. And she's like, Grandma, we got to put this on her, and we got to put this kind of dress because that's Oshun. She's saying, but that's how pretty Oshun is. So you see, they touched and tapped on the Orisha, how they felt it coming to them. And that's how you should be. There is no wrong or right way to practice voodoo, but there is a way. The wrong way, if there is a wrong way, would be to be disrespectful. If my Orisha and my ancestors have brought me knowledge that I needed and guidance that I needed, I'm going to give them an offer and I'm going to thank them. And sometimes I find myself saying, oh, I know I made it, but I don't feel this enough. I just want to thank you. And I'm not joking. There are days that I have gotten into a spirit dance, being grateful to the Orisha for the guidance that they have given me. And it's real. Sometimes, you should not just thank the Orisha for what they give you. You just thank them because they're there. And I find myself thinking, thank you. Thank you because I know where I would have been without you. Thank you. You know, um, And that's the thing that a lot of people forget. We don't, we should never come to the Orisha for what we want and what we feel they should give us. We should come to the Orisha sometimes just to say, it's a beautiful day outside. Thank you. I'm sitting here and I'm thinking of you, and I just want to talk to you and say thank you. Don't come to them with the these and thou art so. Just keep it real. Um, I remember when I feel frustration, I sometimes want to, I'm like, damn, I'm not feeling this. And I'm like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Forgive me. I'm not trying. I'm just overwhelmed. But you come at them, you come to them with from the heart. Always keep it real. Okay? Don't ever come to them with this sense of entitlement. That's wrong. Because remember, my grandmother said, honey, they don't have to give you nothing. They'll slap you on the back of the head just as quickly for your disrespect. You don't do that. You come at them with real and just let them know, I am overwhelmed right now. I'm sad, but I love you and I know you love me. I know it. I feel it. You know? And sometimes, when I deal with like the Orisha with Chango, I'm a little overwhelmed by it. His energy is pretty intense. And I'll let him know, you know, you know, Daddy Chango, I'm sorry. You're a little intense. But I respect you. I respect you. And I'll let him know I respect you because, I said, I'm approaching you. I'm a little, it's intense. One time I did that. I was a little intense. I was coming at him. I was coming, not at him, but to him. And I told him, I'm sorry, I'm a little intrepidated. I don't know if I made this food right for you, but I just want you to know I did my best. And I swear I heard him laughing. Not at me, but laughing because, you know, of my bit of like intimidation towards him. I was a little intimidated. And he let me know it's okay, I'm approachable. I'm approachable. I got you. And I'm like, blessed be. Thank you. Thank you for having my back. But see, they're here for us. They're here for us. When I'm dealing with the storms of life and I'm coming to and I'm angry. I'm not angry at the world. I'm angry at the situation that I might be in. I like the fact that our Orisha have two sides to them just like we got two sides. We got our good days, we got our bad days. And the fact that we have our good days and we have our bad days, and so do they get us. They understand us. They understand our good and our bad. So, don't ever say, I have to be in a certain mindset before I talk to the Orisha. No, you don't. You just have to be willing to talk to the Orisha and to listen. Okay? Listen. Because they're talking to you. So, when you be in the grocery store and you about to buy something, you shouldn't be buying something that might be unhealthy, and you feel your guides telling you, don't be buying that. Listen, don't be buying it. I have gotten much more healthier and mindful because of my guides. And I know those guides were sent to me by my ancestors. I know that because they told me. They told me. I know their names. I'm not going to tell you their names, but I know their names because they told them to me. So we do have that relationship. So, when I put coffee or rum on my altars or white wine, sparkling wine, Oshun loves her sparkling wine. I just love giving it to her. When I do that, I'm not doing it because it's a certain day or because we are supposed to do it. I do it because I love Oshun. And I want her to know I love her. And I want to thank her for her guidance and her strength. And sometimes I'm just like, I want to give you this. One time I had bought some cherries. Dark, like almost black cherries. And I put that on the altar for Ogun. And I'm like, because I know you're sweet, but you're strong. I just want you to know I want to thank you for your strength. Because sometimes I don't have that strength. But because you infuse me, I got this. And I know that a black cherry may seem crazy, but it's sweet like you are, but strong too. I just feel this. And I put that on his altar. I try, for me, I know people put hard candy on the altars and they just, and that's fine. If that's what they feel, that's good. That's there. I have never done the hard candies. Not unless they pretty. Or I know they're like a specific, like root beer. I have no problem putting hard root beer candy on Papa Legba's altar. But it depends. And there are certain ones we can, we deal with. I know that for my grandchildren, for them, each one of their action figures, especially my youngest grandson, represents some part of the seven Orisha. They have the dolls to prove it, okay? I have one grandson who decided that the for the elements, air, and for fire, water, and earth, he felt there was one of them, each one was a Ninja Turtle. And so he literally feels that those are his sentinel guides, are the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Because he says, as in his logic was, well, they're all the different colors, so they have to be. I'm like, oh, okay. Hey, okay, that it actually makes sense. So I say this to say, guys, allow yourself to be open to your ancestors. Allow yourself to open yourself up to the Orisha. Don't fall into the category of rules and regulations and you do this and you do that and you do this. Once you have a relationship with them, that will come in how you do things, when you do things. But first, you develop the relationship. It's no different than when you have a relationship with someone here. You first introduce yourself, you don't really know them. But as you get to know them, you get into a pattern. You get into how we treat them and what we do and what we don't do. But we all know basic. Always show respect. Never take anyone for granted. Never be thoughtless. These are just basic rules. Do not feel entitled. Because the Orisha will slap the back of your head with this whole entitlement bullshit. You don't do that. Never. Okay? So, I'm going to leave you at that. And I'm going to have the rest of my coffee. I'm going to suggest to you that you thank your ancestors for their guidance and their wisdom, and thank the Orisha for the sunshine and the rain. Thank them, because think about this. With all of the inconsistencies of mankind, the things we do, the ups and downs, the craziness in the world, the sun always rises and the sun always sets. The moon always glows and the tides of the water stay the same. And that is not by accident. Because the Orisha could stop it anytime they choose to. But they're hoping that we get it. And also remember this. Within your heart and soul, you too are God's. Now be responsible. Blessed be.